arms of this divine and holy breath. And so I welcome you to this morning's meditation service, inviting you to become comfortable and still. Taking these repeated divine and holy breaths easily in, gently and deliberately out. The divine and holy breath in. And anything and everything that does not match the divine and holy is breathed easily and effortlessly out, releasing willingly anything and everything that no longer serves you. If it's not for your highest and best good, it's no longer needed. With something as simple as your breathing, you can let it go and release it. Willingly surrender it back to the nothingness from where it came, back to the universe, back to Gaia, Mother Earth, to recycle it into something useful. And so we spend this time in sacred stillness and holy silence as a reminder that we are divine, we are holy beings. We are always perfectly maintained, sustained by the Spirit of the living God, the presence of the universe, the presence of wisdom and intelligence that resides within us in the secret and sacred place of the Most High. And so I invite you this day to consider allowing for this space to be even bigger and bolder, wider and thicker, stronger and more capable than you have ever before. It always awaits your yes. It always awaits your invitation and willingness to become bigger and bolder receivers for good with a capital G. And so I invite you to rest in this sacred, divine, and holy space, just allowing for whatever comes to you naturally to come, whatever's ready to be willingly surrendered and released, allow that. How wonderful to allow for healing to occur, for transformation, for revelation, for insight, for goodness, for grace, for ease, with your willingness to surrender. And together we are still. Each divine and holy breath takes us even deeper still into this secret, sacred place of the Most High within us. Emma Curtis Hopkins would say, "It's your good, you ought to have it." And if you're willing, just allow for yourself to surrender anything and everything that no longer serves you for your highest and best good. You may consciously be aware or unconsciously be aware of these things. Just allow for the sacred, holy, and divine breath to cleanse, purify, restore, refresh, make new. Continue to breathe in that divine and holy restorative breath. And with each exhale, willingly surrender all that no longer serves you for your highest and best good. Bless and release. Bless, be grateful, and release. Gratitude for all the lessons taught. Willingly surrender and release. You may want to shuffle your feet to the floor, just letting everything go. If it no longer serves, back to Mother Nature, Gaia, Mother Earth, the divine, the universe which is orderly and intelligent, to recycle, restore. With an open heart, I invite you for the next couple of moments to just simply allow for your entire being to be surrounded by gratitude, praise, thanksgiving. Whatever word comes to your mind, the eye of your mind, that's the right word for you. Gratefulness, praise, thanksgiving, grace. Imagine warm and sacred hugs, thanking you for your time and dedication to this practice of stillness and meditation. Imagine knowing that you are recognized in the mind of the divine as perfect, as whole, as complete, an emanation of the Most High. You are a divine masterpiece. Nothing may be added unto you. With each breath, even more grateful and thankful. Allow for the heart space to feel this. Allow for your breath to feel this. Allow for your entire being, every corpuscle, atom, molecule, to be refreshed, reinvigorated, restored, made new, re-energized. by your willingness to surrender. And so when you're ready and in your own time, just simply allow for your breath to bring you back to the body temple. You may want to wiggle in the chair to make sure you can feel the chair support you. You may want to tap the fingertips lightly and gently together. You may want to tap the toes or the feet to the ground, shuffling off any remaining remnants of what you are willingly surrendering this day. And when you're ready and just in your own time, allow for the outer eyelids to gently open, becoming aware of this place, this space, this now moment, each other. Knowing that we've created a field, a healing field, so that all that walk through the double doors are able to receive a transformation, revelation, insight, healing, demonstration, because you set the tone and planted the fertilizer. And so it is. Namaste.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, everybody. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too.
God loves you and I love you too.
Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you.
Recognize God in you.
Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together.
Come together.
We come together.
We come together.
We come together.
We come together in the name of love.
We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
From every walk of life, every creed, color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, Namaste, I bow to you.
Namaste, I bow to you.
Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together.
We come together.
We come together.
We come together.
come together.
We come together in the name of love.
We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah. Hey, 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 hey. I'm in the right place at the right time, just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time, just where I'm supposed to be. And my soul is welcome here. Yeah, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Yeah. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I said, my soul is welcome here. Yeah, my soul is welcome here. Yeah, my soul is welcome here. I said, my soul is welcome, and my soul is welcome here. Yeah, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. Getting the message loud and clear. Getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's a beautiful morning. It is an incredibly beautiful morning. What a day. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Redlands. Thank you to everyone joining us on Facebook Live and YouTube and here in our sanctuary. My name is Eileen. This is funny. Holly did this last week, but they crossed her name out so that I wouldn't make a mistake and call myself Holly. So then they put my name above there. My name is Eileen, and it is truly a privilege and an honor to welcome you to our Sunday celebration service. CSL Redlands is a new thought community living in ancient wisdom philosophy based on the science of mind. The science of mind philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes studied truths from all the world's religious traditions and spiritual paths and developed a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into our world. CSL Redlands is an open and inclusive community honoring all people from every background, all races, sexual orientations, gender expressions, and spiritual paths. No matter who you are or where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and our vision is a world that works for everyone and all of creation. If you are here with us for the first time, please raise your hand. Nice to meet you. We know you have a choice for your spiritual community, and again, we are delighted to have you with us here today. A gentle reminder to silence your phones, put them safely away so you may enjoy the service more completely. And again, I say welcome.
While you're silencing your phones, whether you're here in the sanctuary or at home, I'm going to take this moment here, for those of you, especially for those of you who were not here for the meditation, to silence your minds. Hard to silence your mind when your phone is not silenced. Feel free to close your eyes if you like. Just relax. Hear your heartbeat. Feel the movement in the quiet and the still. Take a breath. Release it slowly. There is nothing here to do, no need to fill. Every moment's just a fantasy. It's of our own device, and it's gone in the twinkling of an eye. Every memory's just make-believe, the stuff of hopes and fears that we've chosen to enshrine. I wonder why. So be at peace for a moment. For a moment's all we have. A moment's all we have. A moment's all we have and ever will.
So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunday service. I have a quote that will encapsulate today's message. It's by Alan Watts, The Wisdom of Insecurity. We are living in a culture entirely hypnotized by the illusion of time, in which the so-called present moment is felt as nothing but an infinitesimal hairline between an all-powerfully causative past and an absorbingly important future. We have no present. Our consciousness is almost completely preoccupied with memory and expectation. We do not realize that there never was, is, nor will be any other experience than present experience. We are therefore out of touch with reality. We confuse the world as talked about, described, and measured with the world which actually is. We are sick with a fascination for the useful tools of names and numbers, of symbols, signs, conceptions, and ideas. And so again, it's a pleasure and joy to always be here with you this day and every day. It's an honor to always be on the pulpit. My name's Brother Mark. I'm one of the licensed practitioners of CSL Redlands and have emeritus status, which means 20 or more years serving Centers for Spiritual Living. I was a graduate of the class of 2000, and that was at Agape with Reverend Michael Beckwith. So I've served at the Redlands Center since about 2014 and have been particularly active since about 2016. So one of my goals in speaking is always to impart practical spiritual tools for your everyday living. This month's theme is speaking truth to circumstance. So I'd like to explore the topic together for about the next 20 to 25 minutes or so. So I want to start out by the obvious, pointing out that circumstances or life challenges are never the truth. And when I say the word truth today, I'm referring to capital T, right, or divine truth. So the other word that you hear a lot in our centers is the absolute, and I have a definition for that coming up, right from the glossary of the Science of Mind text. And if you've never looked at it before, that Science of Mind text is amazing. You can go to the glossary, and if something's on your mind, just search for the definition and the word, and it will bring some insight and revelation for sure. So just as a practitioner is trained to see the truth beyond appearances, the more we commit to practice our spiritual tools, the more then we can naturally rely upon the tools as life circumstances reveal themselves to us. So what are some of the tools that you use in your spiritual toolbox? Anybody? We practiced one this morning. Say it. Sacred service, or seva, right? Beautiful. Did you say meditation? Meditation, that's beautiful. Anything else? Journaling. Oh, yes. How about some poetry? We're ready for one when you're ready for the microphone again. What else? Treatment. Yes. Barbara, thank you. Very important to keep up with your own 5-step affirmative treatment, right? And if you want some guidance on that, create it and show it to any practitioner, and we're happy to give insight on that too. Classes are always a good idea. And then I want you to take time for the physical, right? The body temple. I want you to exercise, whether it's walking slow and then later on adding hand weights. As long as you're not hurting yourself, I want you to do something for the physical. And a lot of times when I do it, I yell and I scream. When I'm playing pickleball, or I used to be tennis 10 years ago, I would always go, ah, hey, you know, I would really hit the ball hard, and I'd let out, I'm hopefully letting out all the stuff that resides in me, all the frustration, all the disappointment, because we need an outlet to let that go. Does that make sense? Like I say, get a bat and go. You know, there's at Ford Park here in Redlands. There's handball courts. Remember those? You could get a tennis racket and a ball, and you don't even have to hit it well. Just blast it and scream every single time you hit it or whatever. And if you're shy and you don't want to, you can go, oh. And then you can do it louder and louder. It feels so good, right? Break a little sweat when you can. Easy to do as the summer's coming, but to get that heart rate up is so important, at least 3 to 5 times a week, probably more like 5 or more times a week. But start with 1, go to 2, get yourself to 3, check with your doctor, right? And also, if you're taking things to feel better in the physical, bless those things. I think one of the most powerful prayers is perfect assimilation, perfect elimination. So that can go for your food, it could go for your medications, especially any treatments. If you're taking things that you're not sure of, you want to make sure, right, that since we're energetic beings, you can get muscle tested to see if these things are good for you, whether they're supplements, vitamins, medicines, whatever it is. Your body will tell you if it's good or not okay for you. So this week's topic is Got Me Hypnotized, and it's the idea that our entire journey in life is to wake up. Our foundations class does this, and I believe it's still 12 weeks or 3 months, because to break a human pattern or to create a new human pattern, it takes that long. So I know a lot of people want to take a foundations class in like 7 days or 10 days. It does not work like that, because part of each week is a topic of you then taking some work at home for reading, for the practices that we talked about earlier, meditation, stillness, prayer, journaling. It's kind of like peeling back an artichoke. As you're taking the class, you might prick your finger on the edge of the leaf. Ow, right? Ow. And at the same time, that's part of the ow of letting go. I've had some students get to a certain week and never again do you ever see them again. They're like, right? It's rare, but it happens. Like, they're just not ready. And so I believe in this teaching that when your soul's ready, you will find the way. And I'm encouraging you to push yourself, because part of spiritual growth, it's uncomfortable, right? When the caterpillar turns to a butterfly in the cocoon, it's a chrysalis, right? It's probably a holy mess in there. And at the same time, when it's ready, its wings force the cocoon open, right? If we try to help it, what do? We kill it or destroy it. So nature has a way. Your spirit knows. We're energy trapped in a body. You're going to be fine. Take the classes. So the idea of Got Me Hypnotized is funny, because I'm not sure if anybody realizes just exactly what happens when you're willing to do a talk. Some of you do. Man, it's just with you like you're not really pregnant, but you kind of are. Like, it's mini births every single time. And I will tell you that the labor occurred at 4:37 a.m. because I thought I had all my notes done, And then I was wide awake at 4. I wrote the time down because I had to look at the microwave, and I'm like, dang, there's still more for this talk, because it's loaded with quotes and things, probably that I won't be able to get to all of it because there's so many amazing quotes. But the idea is this. Let me just read the download, because it was a download. It says, you think you know what you're supposed to say. Let me share with you the message of what is most needed. Right? And we should just learn from just that. Because a lot of time in the human, we think we have this all figured out. We think our way or the highway, right? That's not always the case. One of the most powerful things that I believe we can do is leave here today more open, more willing to be receptive to our good with a capital G, more willing to create a void or vacant space for Spirit to have its full sway in my life. Does that sound good to you? Let's just do it as an affirmation now then. I am willing to be a vessel, open more today than ever before, to Spirit to show and lead and guide that which is for my highest and best good. And if you do that with a grateful heart and you let it be so, it's really a prayer. And it's an affirmation, it's a prayer, it's powerful. And then Holmes would say, now our only job is to walk around with great certainty and expectancy that it's true and it's so, right? Does that make sense to everybody? I see some heads nodding. If it doesn't make complete sense to everybody, see me after and we'll go through it in more detail. So this is the download from 4:37 a.m. and it's written pretty badly, and it's only on these little yellow stickies or green stickies in a row. It says, so the idea is it got me hypnotized. So it said, what if somebody's going through a health crisis? You may just be hypnotized on that for quite a long time. It could be a prognosis. It could be a diagnosis. What are you going to believe when you get those, right? Like, what are you going to defy the diagnosis and make your own spiritual prognosis? It's going to be your call. I think if people get engaged, sometimes that can become a hypnosis, right? Like, how long is it till the wedding? Because, man, that could be its own hypnosis if it's a long engagement. It came through for pregnancy, that idea of that expectation, right? I can't even read my writing here. Let's see. Oh, an anticipatory event. That's not even a word I would normally use. And that we are energy. And so where is our energy? So anything future or past. Our goal is to not live in the future and the past, right? Because if we're in the past, we just have baggage and regret. And I remember a time where we were doing a talk here and we literally had suitcases. And it took 2 or 3 ushers to help the speaker carry the suitcases off. Right? So how many suitcases are we carrying of regret? And I think it's okay to feel pain. I want you to hear what I'm saying, because I've talked a lot here and I've told you that in my own life, when I had severe pain, I allowed it to be with me. And I've even had masseuses, very beautiful spiritual masseuses, work on me. And we used to get a 2-hour session, each person in the house. And he goes, this is Austin Grady. He would go, and he's joined us before at service on Zoom. He said, you really want to hold on to your pain. And you know what? It's your pain. And so if it's not done teaching, I say hold on to it. It's optional, though. The suffering is optional. But I'm not saying it's not going to teach you something. So I'm not a Band-Aid practitioner. I believe that I do believe in miracles, I believe in angels, I believe in all these things. But we have to allow them, because Spirit, you can call it whatever words you want, intelligence, God, whatever you want to call it, order, harmony, wisdom, right? It waits for your permission. So I want you to ask it to heal and transform and reveal. Guide me. There's a song by Ricky Byers and Michael Beckwith, Use Me. Look up the words to use me. Amazing. You know, you could sing it. There's hand movements to the song. You can do this in the car. You can do these practices that move you. You can do these all on your own. So The other words that came, because these are, you'll understand when I say them: grief, loss, separation from source. And there's no time in spirit. We travel to it with whatever frequency we want. Anywhere we are other than here and now in this present moment is really the idea of the talk title for today. Right? You can recognize, oh, I'm being hypnotized. And it doesn't mean you're not going to feel grief and you're not going to feel loss. You know, I have friends from a long time ago who lost a spouse really young. And they still, I think one of them just recently posted that they got rid of their Microsoft folder about loss. They made that a proclamation. Some people do things very publicly. You might notice that. And sometimes I scratch my head and I'm like, wow. For me, I'm just a little more private. But some people do this healing work for themselves really publicly. And so whatever works for you is what I want you to do. I want you to find and practice whatever works for you and then do that. Okay, there's a lot of material, so let me see. Let me just do this one. It's, everybody knows of Thich Nhat Hanh, right? So there's a couple good quotes. Let me read this one. When you're around a group of people, although you want to be yourself, you're consuming their ways. The way we make decisions, our likes and dislikes, depend on the collective way of seeing things. You may not see something as beautiful, but if many people think it's beautiful, then slowly you may come to accept it as beautiful. Also because the individual consciousness is made up of the collective consciousness. That's why selecting the people you're around is very important. Shall I repeat that last part? I know a lot of you heard it. I see the heads are all going up and down. Selecting the people you're around is very important. It's important to surround yourself with people who have loving kindness, understanding, and compassion, because day and night we're influenced by the collective consciousness. And there's an old school science of mind term, I'm not going to say it, but it was blank consciousness. And it was the idea, some of us were taught this a long time ago, but it was the idea that in this collective consciousness, it tends to be the lowest frequency or the lowest common denominator of anything. Like it can take you to the gutter of everything. And it's kind of interesting. Another example of this idea of got me hypnotized, who left cocaine in the White House? I mean, it's on every news station and all from different points of view, right? But that's an idea that I think it's called the cryon. If anybody knows, I couldn't get Alexa to confirm. But like the scrolling lines on the news? That could get you hypnotized, right? Oh my gosh, what's happening? Right? Like think about it. The other one is shark bites, all the shark bites in the East Coast, right? And then you saw the clip in Miami where there was actually a dorsal fin and the people were still in the water, right? You got to look this stuff up. It's too good. So the idea of the other thing about got me hypnotized that's kind of weird is, I think so many people grew up with Disney that they think a wild animal is friendly, right? Because you go to Country Bear Jamboree in Disneyland and all the bears sing. But in real life, they may not sing. Right? That's the idea of today's talk, this idea of got me hypnotized. Okay, this is also too good. It's from the Science of Mind, page 487. The belief in a life apart from good is a dream from which we must awake if we are to taste the waters of reality which flow from the source of life. This awakening is a process of evolution, a little here and a little there, until the whole eye is opened and we see that life is neither separate from God nor different from good. Life is God and good is the only power there is or can be. Let's say that together as an affirmation. Good is the only power there is or can be. That was terrible. You're like, good is the only power there is. No, the idea when you're saying an affirmation, if you believe it, and I'm glad we checked this, because just because I say an affirmation, I want you to think it through first. And then if you believe it, you can say it with conviction. Good is the only power there is or can be. All right, that was so good, because that's with the capital G, right? To awaken oneself is to be healed, made prosperous, happy, and satisfied. To be made every whit whole. To be complete as we were intended to be. God is a God of the living and not the dead. That's Ernest Holmes, page 487. So last week I mentioned I was up here trying to get a quote out, remember? And I'm like, I can't remember this quote, remember? I'm like, I wanted to tell you the quote, but I couldn't remember it. And of course, as soon as I leave, doesn't the quote just pop to your head? And this, I heard Michael Beckwith say it, but you'll hear other teachers say it. An expanded mind cannot retract. Should I say it again? I'll say it on this side. An expanded mind cannot retract. And Gilman has a little smirk. You already know this, right? So what this is this idea about got me hypnotized, right? But when you're taking these classes, when you're listening to these kinds of talks, something within you recognizing it as true, right? Once you have that epiphany, once you have that insight and divine revelation, try to pretend that you don't know it anymore. Because now, guess what? You have, as a student of the science of mind, received insight, intelligence, divine intelligence, capital D, capital I, wisdom, capital W, insight, capital I, and it's now a responsibility. Dang it! You're now accountable and responsible for all your words, your thoughts, your deeds, your actions, your behavior. Dang it! Say it isn't so. You are a manifester. You're like a whirlwind of good. That was what I was wanting to share. So this next quote is from Deepak Chopra. The collective dream is the hypnosis of social conditioning. Only sages, psychotics, and geniuses manage to break free. And from Rashid Ogunlaru, one moment of awakening can reverse a lifetime of sleepwalking. Now that's the good news. And I think some of us, or some of you, probably have already had this, right? It could be like an amazing love affair with a real person. It could be an amazing love affair with the divine within you, which I encourage us to all court that divine, that shall never leave you nor forsake you. It could be taking a hike in nature. It could be going to the cabins and seeing the mountains. It could be something simple, like seeing the squirrels in the tree. I almost went off the side of Redlands Boulevard because the squirrel was like, like this. And there's two of us cars going, and we're like, I'm not hitting that squirrel on the way to meditation, sorry. So like I'm on the side, and then the car behind me knew to slow, right? So the squirrel was hypnotized too, right? But then it learned like cars, and then I saw it in my rearview mirror cross, thank God. I was like, now it's going to be a little bit better day. Because if anybody hasn't seen the reverse of that, it's really hard to see. It's hard to watch. Okay. Oh, nature. Well, I was talking about some of it's the ocean, right? The waves. There's some people who have received healings from just being placed in the sand for many, many hours a day and letting the salt water and the ocean just, like they believe they would be healed if they were in this position. And that's where they were. So wherever it is that you find it for you, I want you to find it and do it, because you'll see the beauty in the moment. I wrote others may find it in architecture, museums, art, travel, poetry, sports, physical fitness. How about tennis, pickleball, volleyball, basketball, team sports, solo athletics? I mean, wherever you're drawn to, find the beauty in the moment, because I'll tell you what, especially when you're doing team sports, or at least for me, you have to be in the moment, because I don't know these people. I don't want to play like, terrible. If you go to social pickleball, like right here or whatever, you're meeting all new people, and it's awesome. My favorite times recently have been with some of the young people. I want them to not know how old I am, and I want to try to pretend I can keep up with them. From especially 20 to 30 or so years old. I make no excuses. I have to bring plenty of water. But then at the end, I might have to call for help to get in the house. Because sometimes if I drive from here to there, that's when you might cramp up or whatever, and you're like, dang it, can't walk in the house. So lately, but you'll find joy in that. There's life in that. And also you get to meet really cool, nice, fun people, usually. There's always a handful that we could do without, right? Anywhere. So we just want to avoid that. But have fun. So this is an amazing quote I'm going to share. And it's from Christopher Moore. And it says, children see magic because they look for it. Isn't that beautiful? And I have the image. It was a Facebook post. If you want to see it later, I think I brought it. Children see magic because they look for it. And I was like, that is a mic drop. That's what we're supposed to do as students of science of mind. We're supposed to look, proclaim our good, right? And then we walk around and everybody will meet, are you our good? Oh, you could be our good, right? Then I want you to check it, right? It could just be a random person. Are you my good? For sure you are. But he shakes his head. He's like, no. It must be you then. Are you my good? How about you? That one said, hey, I don't know. Are you? I know Barbara is my good because she is a divine feminine anchor of truth. Does that make sense? So we don't want to be naive, okay? Let me just share this. We don't want to be naive. We want to have that childlike expectation and then check, right? Check the facts, verify. Yeah, they could be my good. Right? It could be the answered prayer. So there's a quote from Susie Kassem that's really good. It's Kassem. And the book title is called Rise Up and Salute the Sun. We awaken by asking the right questions. We awaken when we see knowledge being spread that goes against our own personal experiences. We awaken when we see popular opinion being wrong but accepted as right. And what is right being pushed as being wrong. We awaken by seeing answers in corners that are not popular. And we awaken by turning on the light inside when everything outside feels dark. And so I'm going to wrap this up in the next couple of minutes because Al's going to play whether I do or don't. I feel a hook. I feel a hook. I'm on page 7 of 10. I'm not going to go through all of it. I want us to be comfortable with this idea of taking responsibility and accountability for what we know that we know that we know, right? Because to know that you know means you turned within, and within. Right? So when you get these divine downloads, they're going to be there the next day too. If it's from the divine, you may not recognize all the words because they're not necessarily your words, but they came through you. In you, as you, and through you. And so let me come up with a big close from all this. This is from Michael Beckwith, and then I may have one other. To the degree that you attune yourself to the vibratory frequencies of love, compassion, truth, discernment, and honesty, a vibration will go forth from you that contributes to the upliftment of your own consciousness and the collective consciousness. I heard Barbara say yes. And we were trained in a day back in church or other centers where, if you feel something, I want you to say yes. It's okay. You can say yes. You can be loud from your chair. And then, there's also if you haven't ever listened to Ricky Byers' music, do that. Do yourself a favor and do that. There's amazing lyrics in there. There's one that relates to this topic. I open my time-blinded eyes to see all the glorious possibilities. Isn't that beautiful? And then I'm going to close with a quote by Gene D.E. and then Salzman, S-A-L-Z-M-A-N-N. And it's called Be Still. The wish to be conscious is the wish to be. It can only be acquired or experienced in silence. If I learn to allow the silence in me, the real silence, this wish to be will speak in me with such power that it will join the light that alone can reveal to me the meaning of my life. Done. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Love you.
And once again, thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
I love all the quotes. I really do. Starting with Alan Watts and, of course, Ernest Holmes, Thich Nhat Hanh. This particular piece of music here is based on a biblical quote. It's from Luke 17:21. If anybody needs to, I don't see anybody carrying a Bible here today, but if you feel like, but you know it. It's one of the familiar ones. And I think the thing about all those quotes is that everybody has their own individual interpretation of the exact meaning of that, and that may even change over time. But this is one that you've heard many times before, and this is kind of it's Gary Lynn Floyd's take on it. And if you don't know Gary Lynn Floyd, he's a fine New Thought singer-songwriter, but he's a young man from, well, he's not a young man anymore, but he was when he was a young man, he was from Texas, and growing up in the Dallas area and attending evangelical kinds of churches, and he was kind of a featured singer, really fine singer. Found that he no longer had a home. He's got a home now. He's with us. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you. It's not just a place to get into someday far away. Be bold. It's something that you can tap into, a strength that will help you to get through each day by faith. Whoa, whoa, behold. So believe the kingdom of God is at hand. Within each woman and man, believe and receive the truth that is setting you free. The miracle in you released, so receive and realize. Just open your eyes and behold, the kingdom of God is within you. Not just a place to get into someday far away. So be bold. It's something that you can tap into, the strength that will help you to get through each day by faith. Whoa, whoa, behold. Somehow reach down inside you and find the love that's been there all the time. Somehow, right now,
talented El Yankee. We want to thank our Director of Music, Gilman Carver.
Yeah.
And now it's time for our offering, so the ushers are coming forth. You may have seen a note in the collection box back there that if you're able to tithe above your normal tithes and gifts, we're grateful to that. If you could do that for the next 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks, that'd be really helpful. And so now's the time for conscious giving. I invite you to just consider the idea that the same portal from which we give is the same portal from which we receive, right? It's a muscle. It's a spiritual muscle. So we have to flex our muscles to make them grow. I'm asking for that. Not asking for a private jet, just asking for stretching of the giving muscle. And so I invite you to take your tithes and your gifts and your offerings, and I'll say the affirmation and you can repeat it line after line. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world, and it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it perfectly is.
Thank you for giving, and thank you for receiving, and thank you for being who you are. Thank you for breathing, and thank you for believing, and thank you for being who you are. The universe is flowing with love that's ever growing, and you are a vessel of that love. So thank you for caring, and bless you for your sharing, and thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being who you are.
And so if you're watching remotely on Facebook Live, I'd like for you to hit the Donate Now button, knowing also we accept donations via Zelle, Venmo, PayPal, and check in our secured mailbox. Thank you, ushers, for your service. I invite the congregation to outstretch your hands toward the offering received. Know that this offering comes in every day of the week. There's things that come in. And actually, David and Holly received a $100 donation. Is that from yesterday at the street fair in Redlands? That was nice, right? And so see that and see some zeros added onto that and name it good and very good. I bless these tithes and gifts and offerings knowing that they're sufficient to cover the needs of CSL Redlands, which is a successful idea in the mind of spirit. And therefore, everything it needs to be maintained and sustained is provided on time, every time. And together we say, and so it is. All right. And so I'm going to invite Holly to come up if you're still willing to do the announcement. And then I'll do a brief closing prayer. Is everybody cool that we're going to end service within an hour every week? And then you'll have time for fellowship.
We have a very important member meeting that begins promptly at 11:30. If you haven't applied for membership yet, that you wouldn't probably be able to stay for that. So we have a meeting at 11:30. And that's it. Yeah,
Thank you, Holly. And if you want to apply, you can. You can still apply for membership, and then the board will vote to do that. We had 3 people join last week. So thank you very much for that. So I invite us to just turn within for a closing prayer. And let's just, again, we take in that divine and holy breath in. And we release anything and everything that does not match that divine holy breath. And as we return to our normal breathing, we're reminded that this power and this presence, this love, this grace, this good, this intelligence, this wisdom, it's here and now in this place, it's in the space, it's in me, it's in you. And it's from this place of unity and unification that is the platform from which I speak this word. Knowing that anything and everything that's needed for CSL Redlands to continue is provided. All the right people, all the right events, all the right congregants, all the right friends, all the right classes. It's all here, ready to be revealed, ready to be made demonstrated and made manifest. How grateful I am to each person who laid a hand on this service, including the most talented musicians, the sound technician David, our board of trustees who has been meeting hours and hours and hours in preparation. I have witnessed more than 24 straight hours of work so that everything's in order, everything's transparent and in harmony. I want us to send as a congregation blessings of healing, health, and wholeness to each of us present, each of us watching remotely. And what I know is that Spirit knows what the last word of each of your prayers individually are, even before the last word is uttered. And the answer is always a resounding yes, yes, yes. Yes, my beloved, in who I am well pleased. Yes, yes, yes. We send healing to those in need of healing. We had a family member who we raised in our home who hung himself on an outdoor carport and is in hospital. Not sure of exactly what the recovery will look like. I'd like us to send Junior just our loving energy right here and right now. I know it's a little selfish for me to ask, but I'm asking for us to just see Junior in your mind's eye as whole, complete, and perfect, as the beloved child of the Most High. Let there be ease and grace in anything that he must go through. For to have felt the pain, to not wish to be here, is beyond being hypnotized. It's beyond anything we spoke about this day. I'd like us to turn our love and attention and send a white beacon of light and love intelligence, not only through Redlands, see it go through all the beaches and the mountains throughout the United States, from coast to coast. Let's hold the idea of peace. In Russian, the word is mir. In Russian, the word for freedom is svoboda. So when you say ya es mir, it's I am peace. And when you say ya yes svoboda, it means I am freedom. And we send this where two or more are gathered to Ukraine, from every city, village, north to south, east to west, border to border. We call for peace in our own individual homes and families and relationships. And call forth divine right action. I'm calling it forth right here and right now. Divine right action. Divine right action. Divine right action. With a grateful heart, I know that each of your prayers are answered affirmatively now. And so the spoken word can be complete. I release it to the law of the universe, which always responds yes. And expect the good to unfold with a celebration of joy and harmony right here and right now. And invite you to say together with me, and so it is.
So it is.
And thank you, Gelman. Thank you, Al, for the day. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'd invite you to stand up, and we'll open the double doors for the closing song.
I used to think I'd always be alone, separate, misunderstood. Anybody else? I spend my days in quiet desperation, but on the outside, things looked good. Then I discovered the error of my thinking, the lie at the base of all my fears. Yeah, you can rattle it. So simple. And it turned my world around. Oh, why did it take so many years? Now I am walking with my eyes wide open. I am knowing with my mind wide open. wide open. I am walking with my eyes wide open. I am walking with my eyes wide open. I am knowing with my mind wide open. Loving with my heart wide open. Walking with my eyes wide open. Wide open. There is no separation, no matter what it looks like. There is no separation, no matter what they say. No separation except what I imagine. And I imagine separation's gone.